I'm Angelique Diggs. I'm a reading specialist at the secondary level, and I've been with DC Public Schools for 19 years.
And I am Jennifer Snodgrass. I am a pre-K3 teacher, and I have been with DCPS for 15 years.
Ongoing communication with students and families, to me, means consistency. It means that you are constantly looking for ways and opportunities to keep the lines of communication open. As we all know, life happens, and we need to ensure that despite things that go on in life, that we're constantly making sure that our parents and then our students are kept abreast of things that are important, and that we are reaching out to them so that we know what things are going on in their lives that may impact their instruction.
And to what Angelique said, I think it is so important to keep those lines of communication open. And it goes past just the constant, remember, no school on Monday, and here's the weekly newsletter, and those general communications we send home. But it's those deeper conversations about how your student is doing academically and how they're doing behaviorally and the growths they're making, their struggles they're having. It's more individualized and personal for each student versus the generic communication we send to all families. There are several different strategies that DCPS uses and encourages to promote ongoing communication with our families. The first one is positive framing. We all know reactive conversations are part of our job. Things are going to happen, and we're going to have to communicate those to families. So it's important that we're making sure to front load those conversations with the 5-to-1 positive ratio. So trying to have 5 positive communications with families to the 1 negative or reactive conversation we might have to have with them. We do that so that parents don't feel like they are only hearing from us when something is going wrong or their child is misbehaving. Lots of good and lots of learning is happening, and we want to make sure we're communicating those to families as well. The two-way approach to ongoing communication is finding out from the families what mode of communication works best for them. Is it text? Is it email? Phone calls? And not only what's the best way, but what's the best time? If we have families who are working, an 8-to-5 job, we don't want to be calling, texting them during their workday. But two-way really means that they feel welcomed and open enough to ask us questions and to keep that conversation going. It's not I'm the teacher, this is what I say, you have nothing to add to it. We all know our families are our students' first teacher, and they know their students a whole lot better than we do. So really taking that information that the family knows and bringing it into the classroom so that we can work together to best support the student.
Student-centered and specific practice looks at the specific needs of individual students. At the secondary level, particularly at the school where I work, we work with adult students, ensuring that things that are not necessarily going on in the school community but may impact our students in their homes are being addressed. And making sure that there is an open dialogue with the student in terms of what the student's needs are, and not just assuming that because certain things have occurred that this is what the student needs. So I'm always mindful of the fact that many of our students are also parents. So taking into consideration that the needs of the student may also involve assisting and supporting and advocating the needs of their children as well.
So one way we make sure ongoing communication is happening is, of course, having a working phone number. So one thing I do at the start of the school year is have parents fill out an information sheet. So this information sheet isn't only giving me the important phone number, address, information. It's also letting me know who their siblings are and if they have any siblings in our school. So that way, when I come across a number that's not working, I know, let me go talk to the second grade teacher because they have a sibling in that class.
Just to piggyback on what Jen said, I utilize the phone numbers as well, but for us, because our students are adults, it's even more important and more critical that we have constant communication because we have very high rates of absenteeism. So at the beginning of the year, I have a survey that I disseminate to students where I ask for their home information, their work information. We have many students who are coming to us from the court system. If they have a parole officer or some other advocate or person outside of the school that supports them, then I make sure that I have that contact information as well, so that students understand that we're here to support you. We're here to encourage you, but we can't do that if we don't have the communication and means to communicate with you on a regular and consistent basis. Every week I make time for family and student communication, and this is what I do. On Friday, I have a weekly check-in with my collaborative partner from 2:30 to 3, and we go through a checklist from the week before, and then we go through the week coming up to go through and look at students' needs regarding phone calls. We also do once a month a family Zoom check-in where we are available to parents and we discuss things that are of concern to them. So it's on the calendar every week.
One way I make sure to have weekly communications with families, I have the luxury as a pre-K 3 teacher. My parents have to sign their students in and out every day. So almost every week I'm able to at least touch base with families face to face. But I also make sure on my sign-in sheets that I'm making little dots to make sure I know which families I have actually spoken with and which ones I haven't. So that by Friday, if there's any families I haven't been able to catch in person, I can make sure to make a phone call, send a text, just to make sure to check in. I also use those paper communications. I love to send home a handwritten note, especially when a family has, donated items to the classroom, went on a field trip with us. I also love to send home pictures with our students of great things they've done in the classroom, just to keep that positive communication going with them so parents can really feel connected to what's happening with their student in the classroom.
I do have a success story. I have a student who returned to school after having her son, very reluctant, but I was very persistent in letting her know that it was never too late for her to start. But one of the concerns that she had was finding reliable childcare for her son. So I worked with her to make sure that she was able to get a slot in our facility within our school community. And then I also worked with her to make sure that she had reliable transportation, which was another concern. Being an advocate for her, she stated, was something that she had felt she never had. Having that consistent person in her life reminding her, checking in on her son. As of this date, she now has 12 credits towards graduation. She's currently in summer school, and I also have continued throughout the summer to check on her, to encourage her, to motivate her that she is capable of achieving great things.
One personal story I think that really hit home for me on how important student attendance and that ongoing communication was working with a family this year whose students' attendance at the start of the year wasn't that great. By the February break, the student had almost 60 absences. She was not making very much academic growth. And then once we were able to finally sit down with mom and have that conversation about how important the attendance was, because mom was working and the brother was bringing her, mom just kind of assumed the brother was bringing her and didn't really realize that she wasn't coming every day. So after the February break and she was coming to school regularly, she just started to shine and grow. She went from knowing 2 letters in February to by the end of the school year knowing almost 22 letters. And I think she only ended up missing maybe 4 days of school that last part of the school year. To see her grow was just a great moment.